Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to another Exploding Kittens expansion. This is the brand new Zombies kitten. I didn't even know this was coming out. Just saw it in the store and picked it up as a cool foil box. It's a card game where you explode and then come back to life and then maybe explode again. So fundamentally, this is gonna work exactly like regular Exploding Kitten games. Except there's a couple of twists in there. So it's 61 all new cards in there. You can play up to 5 players, or combine with other versions. They have new ways to play. It's just something that if you watch my other videos, they've brought up in the recipes for disasters, different multiple ways to play. But essentially, it basically works mostly the same way. You draw a card. You play cards and you draw a card. If you explode, you're out. Except they have other cards, like it says in here, let you move or avoid, or you can come back to life. So yeah, we'll take a look at this quick and see what's all in here. So first of all, of course, we're gonna have a rule book, which 2 to 5 players. So one thing this does also add is a new thing they started doing is adding little extra symbols on the cards to show whether or not they're for 1 or 2 player, or for how many players they are. So some of the cards will have little paw prints on them. Let's see if I can find one quick. So like up in the corner, some of them have little paw prints, some don't. The paw prints are ones you use for 2-player games, and then if you want up to 3 to 5 players, you use all the cards, or minus specific ones. But it's just a quick way to be able to take them out without having to try and guess what is what. How it works. Just do a quick overview since the game is pretty fast, in case you haven't played it. In the deck, there are some cards called Exploding Kittens. You play the game on your deck face down, taking turns drawing cards, and then someone draws one. Then what happens, that person explodes and they're out of the game. All other cards give you powerful tools to help you avoid exploding. The process continues, there's only one person left in the game. Basically, if you explode, you lose. You don't explode, you win. All the other cards will lessen your chances. So, pretty straightforward. There are some brand new cards in here. We'll kind of go over that stuff as we get to them, I guess. It'd be the quickest way to do it. There's also a mention on here for combine cards with zombie kittens and any other exploding kittens to play in intense up to 9 players. So if you have one other base set, you can just throw it in there. It's just a really quick thing. But let's just look at what we have first. So of course we have to start with our exploding kittens. And these will have the same backs as all the rest of them, so they can be mixed in nice and easily. Our exploding kittens don't have anything extra special on them, except, like all cards, they will have our little set indicator down here. So if I zoom in a bit on there, and it says zombie kittens on the bottom, just so you know what set stuff are from. It'll have the title on both sides, so it doesn't matter which direction you hang it, and they'll have their reminder text to show this card. So here we have a kitty playing with a Frankenstein electric laser, and it blows up the castle. We have a kitty knocking a bunch of stuff into a witch's cauldron, exploding everything. A kitty playing with a grenade as zombies are trying to attack. And the fourth one is going to be kitty drinking some basically Hulk serum, becoming like a kaiju and destroying the city. So those are the 4 similar cards. Now, in normal games, you have a diffuse card, which is a green colored card, which says if you draw exploding kitten, show the diffuse card, then return the you don't explode, return that secretly the exploding kitten into the deck, and you get to keep going. Those are all replaced in this game by zombie kittens. So it says instead of exploding, secretly putting the exploding kitten back into the draw pile. Same as diffuse. Except now it has and bring a dead player back to life. So that's kind of fun. Now you get to bring another player back into the game. So it makes the game last a little bit longer, but have some interesting things. There's some other little rules about that, and we'll look over in just a sec, but we'll go through the kittens. So you have friendship lasts all weekend. Becoming alien incubator. Cough up a hairball with a hairdo. Learn to entertain yourself. And always land on your feet. So there's enough for 2, 3, 4, 5 of them, one for each player. So with dying, a couple of things happen. You got an exploding kitten, you don't have a zombie, or you have one and choose not to play it, you are dead. Put the exploding kitten that killed you face up in front of you and keep the rest of your cards in hand. So typically you just discard your hand because you're out of the game. Now you're actually going to keep everything in case you get brought back. If you got an exploding kitten, you do not have to play an exploding kitten or a zombie kitten. Even if you have one, you may choose to intentionally die to avoid drawing cards well, to shield yourself from other players, and hope that another player will eventually bring you back into the game. So essentially, how that's going to work is coming back to life. Whenever a player places to choose a zombie kitten to save themselves from exploding, they must bring a dead player back from the game, if there are any. If they choose to bring you back to the game, they will put their zombie kitten in the discard pile, and they will take the exploding kitten that killed them and the exploding kitten in front of you, put them both back in separately into the draw player pile. The two can be in different locations. So you're not a living player, must take your turns as normal. You can still play a zombie kitten if there are no dead players. If you play one, there is more than one, you must choose one of the players to bring back to the game. So the first person that gets exploded, they're just out of the game, they have to wait. Then the second time an exploding kitten is drawn, if someone plays their zombie kitten, they avoid dying, but they have to bring back that first player that's out. So that's why I'm saying you could strategically, the first, maybe even the second player could opt to not come back into the game. But what's going to eventually keep happening is if two people get eliminated, because maybe they didn't, someone didn't have an exploding kitten in between the time, and wasn't able to save themselves, is that now they get to choose which one. So you might not get back into the game, because every time a player gets eliminated, you're adding another exploding kitten back in to still destroy them, so it always stays one per player. But the exploding kittens that let you get away from that disappear. So eventually, if you choose to get eliminated early on, you might get to go a couple of rounds without having to get picked, because then eventually somebody will play one. But if you're at the third or fourth person, you might not. Everyone else might explode before they get to it, or if they have 2 or 3 other people to choose from, they might not choose you. So it is kind of a risk-reward type thing. Alright, then let's look at all our other cards that we have in here. So, if I can find them. We have I call them like our general cats. So you get 4 copies of these. I have them upside down, it looks like. I just call these general cats. You get 4 copies. These are, this is a cat card, and it's powerless on its own. You play 2 vampire cats as a pair to steal a random card from another player. So they've had these in the other sets. Rainbow spewing cat, potato cat, cantaloupe. These are just some different ones you can add in there. They can't be combined with each other unless you have a wild kitten. But you have 4 vampire cats, 4 electro cats, 4 jack-o'-lanterns, and 4 decapitated. So you just get some different ones you can mix and match into your games. So if you're mixing with another one, you'll probably include it, but if you're creating your own custom games, you can do some other stuff. So some of the other cards we've seen before is we've had attack. So this is attack times 2. Another new thing they started adding from the base games is they started adding parentheses with an X number if it tells you how many cards you interact with. So it says you do not draw any cards, you force the next player to take 2 turns. The next player has to draw 2 cards. You get stuck in a claw machine. And then we do have call upon a murder of crows. Then we have a brand new attack card. For this game, we have Attack of the Dead. Do not draw any cards. Force the next player to take 3 cards for each dead player. First time you play it, they won't have to do anything. First time someone dies, it's 3 cards. Which is pretty bad, but then as more and more player dies, this just becomes worse and worse. Release a swarm of zombies. Burn some bread to summon a ghost toast. I'm carcinogenic. And give tickets to some terrible stand-up comedy. Alright, so another card we've seen before is we have Favor. Which says one player must give you a card of their choice, as opposed to playing 2 of the common cats where you can randomly steal a card. Someone has to forcefully give you one. So celebrate with the life of the party. Prioritize self-care. And dance like your foot's loose. We've also had shuffle cards now. This is a shuffle, it says now. Shuffle the draw pile, play at any time. So I don't think we've had to shuffle with the now ability before. But this lets you do it on anyone's turn. And we also have this shuffle. There's more than 2. There's just if you're watching Unimpressive Magic Show. So the now ability functions in 2 fun different ways. So now it says you can play this at any time before an action has begun, even if it's not your turn. But additionally, dead players can also play now cards. So it's another fun reason to combine this with other sets, is because there's a bunch of some of the expansions have more cards that have nows. To give you a lot more options of stuff to play when you're dead. So this mode adds a way to let, even though the game is fairly quick without everyone dying and eventually end, it'll let more players jump in and be interactive. And there's a bunch of other cards in here that do that as well. Next up, we have See the Future, which we've had before. It says 3x. So it says, probably view the top 3 cards of the draw pile. So cheat at cards. Read some grave news. Scope out things ahead of time. And get way into astrology. You're being such a Scorpio right now. So those are some of the ones you've seen before. We have also seen Skip in other versions. It lets you end your turn without drawing a card. So that you're completely avoiding having to potentially get a Exploding Kitten. So get carried away during a game of fetch. Get your witch and fly solo. And never skip leg day. Then your card is introduced to one of the expansions, is we're going to get Super Skip. End your turn without drawing a card. If you're supposed to take multiple turns, end them all. It just basically lets you get rid of attack. Otherwise, attack would force you to draw two cards. So regular skip would only let you skip one of them. Or Attack of the Dead makes you have to draw 3 per player. This would be a great way to get rid of all of them extra draws. Take a spin on a cursed hearse. And support the gig economy. The one Other card I know for sure we've seen before. This was in the Minion set, so it wasn't in the regular Exploding Kittens, but the Exploding Minion set was Clone. So now you can play that in here. It says when you play this card, it becomes whatever card is beneath it. So find a pair of Nosferatus. Make all your voodoo dolls do all the dirty work. And work out the kinks later. You cannot clone another clone card, obviously. You cannot play a clone card when it's not your turn or you are dead, even if you play on top of a card with the now symbol. Because it doesn't, because clone doesn't have now, even though the copy does. You can play a cat card with a clone to create a pair and steal a card, because the clone becomes the same name as a regular cat card. Only works if you're the only player to play both the cat card and the clone. You cannot play a clone on top of a cat card to get it. So if I had, like, the Jack-o'-lantern, I could play that with this and have it be a pair, but I couldn't play it on top of another one. Alright, now for some newer, different cards, we have Dig Deeper. So, Dig has been in previous sets before. This is just an upgraded version of that. So, draw a card, look at it, and then either keep it or draw the next card, which you must keep, and then put the first card face down on the top of the draw pile. Yeah, so Tend Your Dying Gardens. So either you can get one or draw it or put the other one down. Draw the top card of the deck, look at it, and decide if you want to keep it. If so, put it in your hand. Otherwise, you must draw the next card in the draw pile no matter what it is. Then put the card you decided not to draw back on top of your deck. So basically, look at the first card. If you don't want that, you can draw the next one. Gives you a little bit of options. Pity the zombie is 0 upper body strength. Make a deal with the devil in a bad disguise. And get more than you bargained for. So we have another seeing card. We have Clairvoyance, which also has now. So this one, the cards are going to start to actually affect other zombies or dead players. So I have a few of these. Usually when someone plays a zombie kitten, you get to watch where they secretly put the exploding kittens. Play at any time. So it'll kind of help you figure that out. But it's only with a zombie kitten. I suppose you could argue you could use it with a if someone just uses a diffuse if you want, if you're mixing and matching it. But that would have to be a house rule. But a dead player can use it as well. So get stronger Wi-Fi for your cauldron. And see right through your friends. Up next, we have 2 copies of Feed the Dead, also with a now ability. Pick a dead player. All living players except you must choose 1 card from their hand to give it to them. Play it any time. So basically boosts up a dead player, gives them a bunch of extra cards, hurts everybody else. And it gives you maybe, at least that way, like, you can kind of maybe be nice to that person, like, hey, I helped you out. Then if they come back, you know, maybe they remember that, or maybe they won't care and they'll sabotage you anyhow. Take special care of a picky zombie, and give your friend a hand. The last brand new card is 1 copy of this Grave Robber. All dead players with cards must choose 1 card from their hand and shuffle into the draw pile. Return the terrible tie you were buried with. So this makes everyone who had a card have to stick 1 back in, which will force the deck to get bigger, but it also puts a bunch more different cards back into the deck for the players that are still living. I kind of wish there was at least 2 or 3 of these as well. And our final cards are the Nopes, which we've seen in all the other games. Stop the action of another player at any time. A Nope can stop anything. except for a exploding kitten or a zombie kitten or a diffuse card. So you can stop them from playing any other card on you. Any cards that have been noped are lost and you go to the discard pile. You can play this at any time before an action has begun, even if it is not your turn. So even if it doesn't say now, you can still play it. And nopes can also be noped on another nope to cancel it, to create a yup, and so on. So if I play an attack card and someone they play nope to stop the attack, I myself can play a nope on their nope to stop it, or another player could play a nope on there to stop their nope anyhow, and the attack would still go through, and it cancels downwards. So if there's 3 nopes in a row, the first one would still work because the top 2 would cancel each other out. Adopt a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Enjoy a sip of frothy cappuccino. Don't step on the bat guanope. Strut around in a luxurious nope cloak. Excuse me. Inspire the painter Vincent Van Nope. Alright, so that was all of the cards we had for this set. And then, like always, in the instructions, they have a list of how many of each cards there are, how many with or without the pause, plus a little extra, just a reminder of how each card works, or a little bit more in detail thing, which I love that they do. And there's also the special combos. So I already mentioned, like the 2 of a kind matching 2 pairs of cat. There's also a 3 of a kind. When you play 3 matching cards, and your 3 cards with the same title, you get to pick a player and name a card. If they have that card, they must give it to you. If they don't have it, you get nothing. Ignore instructions and you combine them as a combo. Meaning not target a dead player with a combo. So that's kind of an extra different thing you can do with that. So if you end up with a bunch of the same cards that you can't use. Pretty much it for that. So that is our Zombie Kittens, a fun new addition to the game. With the recipes for disaster set, which adds a lot of different reasons you can do. You can now use your extra recipes in there to make some more of this. I myself am almost tempted to buy a second set just so I have more of each card of these. Because with the recipes for disaster, there's stuff like having like a ton of diffuses or a ton of nopes. It'd be interesting to have some more of these, like dig deeps or more like super speed or feed the dead and stuff like that. Just different things to mess with everybody. And that might be interesting to have a second set of these, just have more of those cards, since I don't think most of these would get reprinted. And the other side, Dig Deeper might, and Clone might, just because of the way they work. But I don't think the undead stuff is going to get printed in another set again. Alright, well, see you guys later. Bye.